Hey everyone, happy Vlogmas Day 8, and I'm sorry if you end up seeing a little dirt on my shirt. My dog jumped up and there's now like a dirty paw print on my shirt, but anyway, so happy Vlogmas Day 8. Today I will be talking about all of the individual books that I want to read in 2018, and you guys are going to laugh at how optimistic I am being, because all of these, plus all of the books that I talked about in my series and authors that I want to read in 2018 video on day 6, like, the numbers are just crazy. So I know that I'm being overly optimistic, but I figure that's how you're supposed to start the year. So there's a lot, so I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. But I will say that I do have some books that are by the same author in this pile, but what I did for the other one, for the authors one, is I only talked about authors where I wanted to read more than 2 books by them. So, yes, anyway. The books that I don't have to show you because I either forgot them on my shelves or they're in other parts of the house or something, are Walking Home by Simon Armitage, which is a library book, so I need to get to it sooner rather than later. I've been trying to read it for a year, basically, and just checking it in and out of the library. What Matters in Austin by John Mullen, which I think is downstairs. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, which I will be rereading and hopefully reading with Amanda J, who hasn't read it yet, so that'll be fun. Maybe finishing my reread of Emma by Jane Austen, depending on if I finish it this month or not. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, which that's a goal that's on my list every year, and I have yet to complete it. And then A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle, which I want to read because it's being turned into a film in 2018, and also maybe Wind in the Door, which is its companion novel. And what else am I forgetting? I don't know what else. Oh, I might buy and read Take Courage by Samantha Ellis, which is about Anne Bronte. But I just haven't decided if I'm going to buy it yet, or if I'm going to read the Bronte biographies that I currently have and then save that for next year or something. We shall see. But anyway, I will go ahead and get into all of these. It's a lot, so, and I'm sorry if I duck in and out of frame. I have to pick up all the piles that are around me. Okay, so I'm going to try not to talk about any of these too much. First is New Moon with the Old by Dodie Smith. This was on my list for 2017, and I just didn't get to it. Girl with a Pearl Earring by Tracy Chevalier. This was put on my 2018 list because Katie from Books and Things read it in November and completely raved about it. So, yep, I owned it, so I was like, about time I read it. Next is The President's Hat by Antoine Lorraine. It's just about time I got to this one. Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barbary. This one is on my list because Ange from Beyond the Pages just read this, and I've owned it for years, and I've been meaning to read it for years, and she just loved it enough to give me that push to put it on my list. Next is The Book of Tomorrow by Cecilia Ahern. This is really just representative of one of my Cecilia Ahern books. I have 2 others, but this is the one that I'm gravitating towards most right now, so, yep. Next is The Lie Tree by Frances Harding, illustrated by Chris Riddell. I meant to get to this with my friend Ben in November, and we just ended up not having time. Next is A Portable Shelter by Kirsty Logan, which I love this cover. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, which is also being turned into a film in 2018. The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. So excited for this one. Alan Turing, The Enigma by Andrew Hodges. This is the movie cover, and it's what The Imitation Game is based on, and I loved that film, and it practically made me cry. Actually, it did make me cry, like, a lot. Next is Constellation Myths by Aristophanes. I can't say, I trip over my tongue every time I try to say his name. And Hyginus, and it has Aratus's Phenomena. Next is The Old Patagonian Express by Paul Theroux. Next is S by J.J. Abrams and Doug Dorst, and I will be reading this 3 times because this has 3 different layers of stories in it, and I'm sure some people can read and understand this all at once in just one go, but I know that I will not be able to, so I'm going to read this in 3. I'm going to read each layer once in order to comprehend the whole story. So, yep, excited for that one. Sorry, it feels weird when I talk out of frame. Next is Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes. This is kind of a maybe. I don't know if I'll feel like reading it or not, but I kind of do now. Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. The View from Saturday by E.L. Konigsberg. Miss Bunkle's Book by D.E. Stevenson. The Enchanted April by Elizabeth von Arnim, which I will be reading in April. Excellent Women by Barbara Pym. Frenchman's Creek by Daphne du Maurier. Cold Comfort Farm by Stella Gibbons. Time Was Soft There by Jeremy Mercer. Traveling to Infinity, My Life with Stephen Hawking by Jane Hawking, and this is the book that Theory of Everything was based on. We Bought a Zoo by Benjamin Mee, which is the book that the film is based on, ergo the film cover. And I've had this since the film came out, which was like 7 years ago at this point, I think. So, yeah, need to get to that. Next is The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Marianne Schaefer and Annie Barrows, which I will be reading because the film is coming out. And I'm so excited about the film because it's going to star Jessica Brown Finlay and Lily James, who are 2 of my favorite actresses, and they are both Downton Abbey alum, shall we say. Next is Lady Rose and Mrs. Memory by Ruby Ferguson, which I'm very excited about. And also, while we're on the subject of Persephone classics, I would also like to read Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, which is another one I forgot to grab out of my bookshelf. Next is Eleanor of Aquitaine by Alison Weir. I'm definitely buddy reading this with Gemma from Nonfic Books, and I'm also hoping maybe Katie from Books and Things will join us, but I haven't actually asked her yet. Because she either mentioned specifically that she wanted to read this one, or that she wanted to read Alison Weir in general. So I'm going to see if she wants to join us for this buddy read. Also, I'm buddy reading that, but I do need to finish Queens of Conquest first. Queens of the Conquest. So if I don't finish that this month, that is also on my list for 2018. Next is Harry, A History by Melissa Anelli, which is just a general Harry Potter kind of analysis book, and then The Deathly Hallows Lectures by John Granger, which is his specific kind of analysis of the 7th book. And now that I'm finished with my reread of the books, finally, my most recent one, I can now read both of these. And then Paul Theroux's The Great Railway Bazaar, and Is that it? No, I think I have these still to go, so hang on just a minute. Okay, I kind of have to gather these all together. Okay, so first we have The Winter Sea and The Shadowy Horses, both by Susanna Kersley. And this is an example of, since I'm only reading 2 books by this author, I didn't include her in my author video. The Swan Gondola by Paul Schaffert. The Brontes' Wild Genius on the Moors, The Story of a Literary Family by Juliet Barker. This is a giant beast, and I'm hoping to read this after I finish my reread / reading of all of the Bronte novels, with the exception of Wuthering Heights by Emily, because I really don't like that book. No offense if you do, but I definitely did not. But I will be rereading Jane Eyre and Ten of Walthall Hall, and then reading all of the other books by Charlotte and Anne as well. So, yes, this one. And then, while we're on that topic, The Life of Charlotte Bronte by Elizabeth Gaskell, which, again, I'm hoping to read after I finish reading all of Charlotte's novels. Next is Winter's Tale by Mark Halperin, which I want to read in like midwinter because it calls for it, just based on the title and the cover and the film. So yes, and I really do like the film. I think it has some major problems, like bridging the 2 storylines, but I like it enough that I'm excited to read the book. Alright, last pile. This is Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, which I am hoping to buddy read with Katie from Books and Things, and I'm just very excited to finally get to this, and I'm hoping that having a buddy will help me read this in a timely manner. Next is How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. I won this on Goodreads, so I really want to read this in January so I can review it before its release date, which is the 6th of February. Next is The Duchess by Amanda Foreman, originally titled Georgiana, Duchess of Devonshire, as well as Madame de Pompadour by Nancy Mitford, with an introduction by Amanda Foreman, and I'm very excited to read both of these because I lost them for years. I lent them to my grandmother, and then they ended up getting lost in the move from her house to where she lives now. My mom found them in a box in her room like 6 months ago, and I was so excited that I started jumping up and down for joy because I thought I was going to have to replace these. Next is The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson, and I love this cover. Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. And then last but not least, We Too, Victoria and Albert Rulers Partners, Rivals by Gillian Gill. So, yes, that is the last one. So, a lot of books, which, sorry, I think I have a hair in my eye, but those plus the series and authors that I want to read are a lot, but still, like I said, I'm being optimistic. So let me know if you guys have read any of these, if you're going to read any of them in 2018, just what your general thoughts are, and happy Vlogmas. Talk to you guys later. Bye.